So I posted an earlier video that went into a lot more detail about resynthesis and recording individual tracks from the SY-1000 so that you could then go back and use different SY-1000 patches. It's kind of like reamping, where you, like, say, would record a guitar part clean and then try out different amps and different effects. In this case, we're trying out different synthesizer patches, and someone said, well, you never pointed out how do you actually capture that performance or print that track. So this is from a tune that I did called the Swallow's Dream, and the goal for this tune was to do everything entirely inside of the SY-1000 for all the sounds. And so I've got a lot of tracks in here, and so I thought this would be a good case to go through and just, it's pretty easy to do. So I've got 4 tracks here that represent, you can see they're assigned, the outputs are assigned to the E, A, D, and G strings on the SY-1000. And then I tried different patches out here, starting with this patch called Acoustic with Synth. And this was a custom patch I came up with using a guitar and then layering a synth sound with that. So just a couple things we need to do that's covered, like I said, in more detail in another video. But over here in the SY-1000, we want to go to System, and we want to make sure under our USB setting we're set up for resynthesis. So I'm using Resynthesis 2. Close that. The patch I'm using is this patch. It's a 12-string with synthesizer. So you can see instrument 1 is an acoustic guitar, instrument 2 is another acoustic guitar, and then instrument 3 is a dynamic synth. So I want to record this performance to Digital Performer. So what I'm going to do is I've got a track set up here, and what I want to do is capture the stereo output from the SY-1000. So if we go and look at our audio bundles in Digital Performer, we can see the SY-1000 has 8 inputs and 8 outputs. The 6 individual inputs would represent, when we're not in resynthesis mode, that's the 6 strings coming from your GK pickup. And when we are in resynthesis mode, they're the 6 tracks, individual tracks that we recorded in our DAW. And then we have SY-1000 1 and 2, which is our the stereo output from the SY-1000. And then if we look over here under outputs, we have similar outputs. So you have the output 1 and 2 is the stereo, and then we have the individual outputs coming from the SY-1000. So here I go. I'm just going to start recording on this track. I'm going to record enable the track, and it says Acoustic with Synth. Now, if I want to try out a different sound or layer a sound with that, let's go to use this preset here, preset 39-1, mellow synth lead. So I'm going to record, enable that track. We'll go ahead and turn off the Acoustic with Synth patch that we just recorded here, and let's jump back to the SY-1000 and go to preset 39-1. So preset, and then looking down here, here's 39-1, mellow synth lead, and now we can record that pass. So make sure I've got this record enabled, turn the track on, and let's record this. And as you can see, I had another track set up here. I have Warm Horn, and that's actually pretty great sounding too. Let's start from maybe measure 104, where the key changes, where we go to a different chord. That's preset 1, 2. So we just go over here to our presets, go up here to preset 1, 2, and let's record. Got that set to go. Enable the track. And so now we can disable these or turn off the individual tracks. And now we're working with just our 3 tracks that we printed. We've got, let's see, we'll start from 100, should be the first 2 tracks. So we can go to our mixer and mix in as much as we want of each track. Let's see. And then what I actually did when I put this tune together was to keep the acoustic guitar with synth kind of going the whole time. And then I added in the warm horn and then the mellow synth in different sections to sort of keep the part interesting rather than just having something monotonous happening the whole time. And then building the tune. So that's it. That's the whole process for taking these individual tracks and then sort of print mastering, or that's probably not the correct term, just recording the stereo output from the SY-1000 so that we can capture each one of these performances as a stereo pair, because obviously with the SY-1000 we can only play one sound at a time, but through this process we can build up an entire tune using only the SY-1000 as the sole source for all of the sounds.